Hello, friends. It's Giuliano here, and I'm going to share some more crypto price charts. We're going to start with Bitcoin, get a sense of things, and then we'll move on to some altcoins against Bitcoin pair and get a further sense of things. And we'll generally, we'll start with the weekly price charts, move to the daily, and see if we need to go even further down. For Bitcoin, we will at least. And so here we are with the Bitcoin price chart. A couple of metrics here to come about time. First, the price, getting above the 200-week moving average and holding here a couple of weeks ago with that intermediate red candle, small body indecision, and then another push up higher in the previous week. It closed green, it closed pretty nicely. But as we saw on the daily price chart, there was the Ichimoku cloud, and we'll see that again. So there's potential resistance here really facing us. And this turnaround candle this week, we're going to see either it's going to show us a strong potential for turnaround. It might even dump further down. We'll see where it can go. Or it'll surprise us a bit with a push even higher. But the sense now really is, there's a strong chance it's going to come down first before going higher. I do get the sense we will make it up to the 28 to 30 odd $1,000 mark, but I think that might be, let's say in October or something, we might, or end of September, whatever. And let's say we get some more time here, another month or so of sideways or down action, not necessarily breaking the lows, although that's certainly possible. But by how much is a good question. And then the reaction definitely would be strong enough to get or should be strong enough to get higher. But I think the strength will come from, some middling sidewaysing. You could get below the 200-week moving average and then back above. Maybe even the 20-week moving average will cross the 200-week because it's coming down pretty sharply here. A strong downward sloping direction trend of that 20-week moving average. Going to cross the 200-week possibly, and then cross back up, and it'll be this opportunity for some sideways accumulatory bottoming action in the BTC price chart. So that's definitely a strong possibility. I guess it looks like it now more and more, and maybe the momentum, will be another small weakness in the green, and we'll start down, turning over or whatever. Well, let's see what happens. There's certainly the possibility to keep going higher. We're in this week right now, and something could turn around before the ending of this candle. There are a number of days still, about half the week left. So that's interesting. We'll see how that turns. Now, speaking of time, let's take this to the Fibonacci time. We'll take from the top to the bottom to the top, and we'll measure it here. And it seems like we are 1-to-1. The purple line is 1-to-1. We're currently in this week 1-to-1 with the top to the bottom to the top, and of the previous move from top, bottom to top. So top, bottom, top is the same 1-to-1, top, bottom, top. But that's, I'm not saying this is necessarily the top, and maybe this is just part of a longer time frame that takes us further out. I don't know, but it's interesting to see that time relationship, okay, from the big move here comparing to this big move here, and they're equal. And then if we go in even closer, if we look at just these correct, it actually shows that the move up to down and the move up to down are the same, because when we look here at these moves from low to high, we get from low to high, again, it's this purple line is a 1-to-1. So if we see here, just interestingly, the low to high and the low to high currently are 1-to-1. So that'll be interesting to watch this play out. Those are just some interesting time measurements, and we'll watch that. But as we move to the daily price chart, then we also see a bit of a breakdown of this somewhat channeling. We had 4 touches, and then looks like a beginning of a topping formation potentially that will take us out of the channel and maybe drop us down. Are we going below 20? Maybe we're only hitting 21. Maybe this will serve as an important support zone down here. And if we look, you know, the top of this is what is 22 to 23K. We're almost there now, but you see that possibly the price could come down to this zone and find some support somewhere. And if we go into the 4-hour chart, and we see, okay, potential Ichimoku cloud support, 200 period support, and where is that lower level? So here is again that 22 and 7 represented in blue here. And as you cross down there, there's potential to get some sort of zone of support in the mid-range here, or even down at this type of level down here, which is more like the low 20,000s. And then you just find your sideways or your reversal back for more. This is a 4-hour chart, so there are so many more bars. But yeah, this type of area, if you can support here, that keeps you, you know, retesting. You break out of that you break out of the downtrending line, and then you come back to test it or something, or test the region, the zone of it after this longer downtrend. It's possible. So that's the 4-hour, and looks like we are losing that momentum. Looks like it is finding a top. Maybe it does find a new range before making its move higher to that 28 to 30,000 range. And on the daily, that would mean, yeah, maybe you drop, maybe, oops, nope, this, thank you. Maybe you drop out of this Ichimoku cloud before getting back into it and making it up to that 200-day moving average again, which is up there in orange. So as it follows this downtrend, and the Ichimoku cloud basically takes the space between the first breakout downtrend and the second downtrend, which is the longer term downtrend from these points here. Whereas this first downtrend is the local downtrend. So we are definitely in a key pivotal time. It's going to take a bit more time, it seems. And in terms of the short term, looks like you could be having some resistance in your RSIs, and definitely on the MACD, it's just been a lot of positive momentum time, but seems like it's weakening and there's a potential for a bearish cross on the daily. What will that mean? We will find out, but there's the general thoughts so far on the BTC against USD. And there again, once more, is the weekly. And we'll see what ends up happening surrounding this 200-week moving average. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch. All right, let's move on from here. We're going to check the ADA price chart against BTC. That seems to be one that is holding up well and has the potential to, say, break out of this level. You move to the next one, and then you find your resistance. I think you've got the top of the Bollinger Band, and yeah, we'll see if it can push higher than that in this move. Maybe in this move, it actually gets rejected here and starts falling down. You're going to want to see the price move higher than this with a decent amount of strength and closing force. Let it close higher. Otherwise, yeah, you definitely start to make a topping formation and you come down below again. So we're going to see, and in terms of the weekly, how much longer are we going to get positive momentum? Let's find out. It'll be interesting to see. But yeah, I won't be surprised if you get just some rejection here as well. That's totally possible. So let's take it to the daily, get a sense and say, well, okay, interestingly on the daily, we are at the 200 moving average above it now. After a long battle of touching it, we got above it. So this is big, getting across from the 20-day moving average above the 200-day moving average. So that'll continue as this lagging indicator, and it'll, yeah, that'll be interesting. So now the question is going to be, is this Ichimoku cloud going to provide support in the 20-day moving average and this 200-day moving average? So Cardano ADA ADA is looking good. It's a coin. I'm going to call it, not token, but whatever, token coin. guess you could argue, just to differentiate it from, smart contract tokens. Instead, yeah, this ADA chart is looking decent after this breakout above the 200-day moving average. So let's see if it can hold that. However, all good things do oscillate to the other side. And so we're going to see what kind of positive momentum this ends up looking like, but it could certainly keep going. And if there's no other sufficient narrative, then ADA and its fundamental analysis could provide the sufficient narrative to push the price higher, in which case, 2,600 it definitely feels like that's coming next, and that would be great. But then you have the possibility on this daily of a nice kind of head and shoulder pattern. If you're into those things, does this mean you get even higher up to this kind of level here, which would be great. And I think that's an interesting thought. And if we go to the weekly, we see interestingly how that relates to the Ichimoku cloud. And we will also see, if we check retracement from top to bottom roughly, oh, that's not what we're looking for. Retracement from top to bottom. That would be a 38.2 retracement. So is ADA going to get that first and then come back down and find whatever is, its accumulation range, or even something better like a move even higher? This is against BTC, right? So we'll see. Yeah, that's fascinating. Okay, so that seems to be the trajectory, but maybe not. We're going to watch the 200-day moving average and see how that leaves us, the price interaction around that. All right, what else are we taking a look at? We are taking a look at BNB. Ooh, BNB looking good. This, I can't remember what I was looking at these for. Oh, maybe this kind of move here, where you get a bit of a pause and then a move higher. So maybe we get a pause and then a move higher within this space, but maybe not. Maybe you get some further consolidation. BNB is clearly able to go sideways as needed. So although, out of this kind of triangular action, you would hope for a decent thrust out of there. So yeah, maybe this is just a check back before they move higher, but we'll see. That's, the concerning sense is that this is just against a BTC price chart. So it's the toughest one to hold these prices at such highs against BTC. Wow, fascinating. So is this going to be a deviation like we really want to watch on an ongoing basis here? It's really important for the price to stay above this zone. And as you can see, the Ichimoku cloud is here. So if it can't really hold there, then you start breaking down, you start to question. So yeah, if it enters back into this zone here, then we start to question. There you go. Okay, so that's the weekly. And if we look on the daily, it's been making a nice run. It's probably, well, we've got our trend line here watching it, so we'll keep watching, but it looks like it might do a little chopping around and then lose the trend line eventually. The trend line moving up, go to the right side of it and come down towards this Ichimoku, and then we'll see from there. Now, the other option is it's only really made, let's say, a wave, another wave, a wave up, a correction, another wave up. We're maybe in a correction and then higher, or maybe it's going to go higher first, and then that's when it breaks down and looks for support here, or at least this would be ideal, especially on the daily, because you have your Ichimoku cloud here. So anyway, but once you start breaking down below this trend, I think it's only a matter of time. Even if you get another move up, it's a matter of time before it kind of corrects down. Then the big important part is when it does correct on a bigger level, does it hold high enough within this zone as a support? We'll see. It's going to be interesting. Yeah, let's take a look here. Anything? Yeah, safe zone. If it needs to come down, you've got one, but you better hope that you can hold before going higher. Otherwise, this is a dangerous topping formation over a long time. If you don't, and then you might break the other trend. Like that's we've talked about that before. But anyway, that's BNB, and I don't expect. Well, I don't want to say I don't expect it, because who knows what's coming at this point, right? Anything can happen. All right, cool. So those are some thoughts on BNB against BTC. I hope this is serving you well. I also want to check ETH against BTC. Currently, yeah, are we going to deviate from this level here to the upside and then come back in, or is it going to have legs to go higher? So that'll be the interesting thing to watch. On a daily, and I do think it can pop higher, but currently it is at such an important resistance zone. Yeah, it's tough to say, and then the next target would be the 0.1 region, really. So that's the Ethereum. Otherwise, watch out for moving back below this top line here that we have carved out, that zone. And as you go down, if you want to be more precise about it, you can find it. But currently, you know, it's tough to say, but it looks like it wants to at least cross this trend line here. I mean, arguably it's about to, but we will see. We will see if it crosses that. And once it starts crossing that, then we can expect a longer correction and hope for this on the daily chart, this 200-day moving average, which is starting to swoop up this, this Ichimoku cloud that can hopefully serve as support, lower end of the Bollinger Band, that kind of thing. So we'll see what this ends up being. But yeah, look, you know, you got this momentum here, this momentum here. It's not really, but the price is so much higher. So just gets the sense that unless you want to say that it already reset through this price action here and this momentum here. But yeah. Even with this MACD, it's like it's starting to really diverge momentum wise. So I think Ethereum is going to cool off, at least for the time being as well. Yep. Well, we will see. I only want this trend line on the daily. All right, interesting. Well, we'll see. Of course, it can pop higher. That's definitely a possibility. And what else do we want here? Let's take one or two more. I think when we look at it, where is it? Okay, we'll just start with DOT. Yeah, it looks kind of toppy here at that 20-week from the previous candle. It even couldn't close above it. So we'll see what this is. At least the 20-week is really coming at a strong downward angle. So maybe the price can just by going sideways stay above it, but it looks pretty, you know, pretty much liquidity taken at this level. So let's see what ends up happening here with the DOT price chart. I'm not going down deeper in that yet. FTM, I think also making, it did push up. It did push up all the way to the 20-week moving average, but I think again, we're going to get some resistance here, which is clearly showing that, and it's at this level here. So I think we are done with this one as well. And it'll come back down first. Yeah. Let's see. Solana, Sol BTC. Yeah, look, it's still going sideways, still getting generally rejected by the 20-week moving average. In the previous candle, it was closing a nice green candle, similar to BTC, but you know, this ranging here, you got to hope that instead of turning over and going down, it will turn up. But momentum-wise, yeah, more likely to go down than up. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see where it ends up if it does go down. If it goes up, I'm guessing this kind of level is your topping level, around the 002-ish level, but I mean, you already tried to get up there and couldn't keep it. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens here on the Solana. Oh yes, AVAX as well against BTC pair. Also like riding up the lower end. Were you here watching this video when we were talking about potentially even riding up the lower side of the uptrend and then getting rejected at this 20-week moving average on top of that? Oh, amazing. Like the candle itself, body closing below the 20-week, grabbing liquidity above, getting rejected at that uptrend again. It looked relatively strong. You know, this green candle was just the first green bar on your MACD, but it shows you like a lot of the up force can be in the relative positive momentum of the negative histogram, but it's relatively positive on its way up. And then you get like one push on this candle, and then it's generally, even though you get intra week, the price goes higher and then closes lower, and you still get a green momentum. So yeah, I think this is a time where you get a turnaround here on AVAX. AVAX as well. Interesting price action. I'm loving it. And MATIC as well. It looks like we are at a topping level. Now I know, you know, this trend line is kind of only using these main cluster of points here and here, but generally it looks like that's going to play out. We'll see though. Maybe it'll get higher, but you know, you're at this level here of support resistance zone. The good thing is you're above the cloud, so we'll see what kind of consolidation is necessary, if any. What a wild fluctuation! Big positive momentum here on MATIC, but you know, how much higher is it going to go, or are we going to get higher high, lower high, and then lower high? Still on the momentum, which seems fair. So we'll see what kind of trajectory this price takes in the coming weeks and towards the end of the year. Here's 2023 beginning. So yeah, that'll be fun to watch. So that's MATIC. And if we look on the daily, just to get a sense of it, we are crossing the trend line that we had already laid out. So I'm getting the sense that we're going to at least get down to the 200-day moving average on Ichimoku Cloud to try and support that there, which would be great because then we'd be supporting at this kind of level. So that's possible. If you start breaking down, then it's likely to be a longer correction against the BTC. So there you go. So some key leveling right here. So yeah, that'll be fun to watch. I'm going to move this one up to here. It's key leveling. Well, actually, no, we have our indicators that are already there. The Ichimoku Cloud, the 200-day moving average. So that's it. Trend is being broken now to the downside potentially. The candles themselves, yeah, we'll see, but it looks like that's what's happening. You get a 1, 2, 3 type of top point formation, and now we're going to come back down at least to here. It looks like that'll be very interesting to watch. And then if it starts getting down here, you know, like that'll be interesting too, because you come down. If you break down below, then yeah, then you're going for a longer correction and maybe even coming down to this level down here. We'll see though. That'll be very interesting. Or trying to find that accumulatory consolidation in this level, and then this whole range would be a big accumulation if it's going to be going higher against BTC. The unfortunate part is maybe it's going to be itself a big M or triple type of a, you know, top here, top here, top here, and then come down further to this level down here. That makes a lot of sense as well over time. And we're talking into 2023, April. And imagine BTC's roaring up to 100K or something. This is none of this financial advice, this is just speculation. Then against BTC price charts, some of these, especially if they're weak or for whatever reason, you know, it could just turn over. The market might be rejecting it against BTC. Further to the downside and making it come all the way down here. So I can see how that might happen. But having said that, overall, strong bounce, getting you above the Ichimoku Cloud on the weekly. So you've got that going. Let's first start breaking down below before we start concerning too much. It looks halfway decent, but it's what's going to happen next. for the rest of the year that's going to determine, really what the potential is for this price action into 2023. Woo! That's MATIC. Okay, I think we are basically done. I'm gonna, if you have any requests or anything, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to stop the screen share and say thank you very much. If you're still watching, I hope it's been helpful, enjoyable, and until the next time, wishing you love, peace, and happiness. Goodbye.